Okay, we are ready to go. Oh wait, actually, my coffee. Oh my god, what the fuck? I hate homemade milk. Jesus. The fuck happened to this? October 30, 14, 9:41 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 4. Hey, Nicholas! Okay, wait, Maya and Nicholas. These preparations here? Holy shit. What is it this time? No. You know when you are drinking milk and it has some little frozen pieces in it? Gee, holy, how to vomit yourself during the stream ASMR. You won't believe how many people are here for the trial. Well, it is a murder case. What are you talking about? They are here for the trial next door. Next door? Boy next door? Why don't you know this, Nick? You're having Detective Atmy's... They are having Detective Atmy's trial today. Detective Atmy? They say they are going to try him as Mazda Musk. Already? That was fast. Boy, I would love to see Mazda Musk's trial. I know. By the way, where's Purse? Oh, she went back home. She said she can't neglect her training anymore. I know you don't like me. Purse has really gotten into her training lately, huh? Yeah. Ever since that incident last year. Blase. Don't ignore me, huh? Oh, Mr. Delight. Good morning. No one likes me. No one would notice me, even if I kill someone. Come on, don't be silly. Wait a sec. You don't mean you're the murderer? No, no. I'm just a poor thief. No, wait, that's not right. Because you can be poor. A thief can't really be poor. Now let's see. According to Mr. Delight, from his second crime on, he was following a bunch of set plans. Plans that someone had been sending to him to help him commit the heist. Bane from the Payday Gang. Do you really think there's a connection between the thief and the murderer, Nick? It's possible. But today's trial is a race against the clock. Huh? How come? Let's just take our time like always. I'm afraid that's not an option. Question mark? October 13, 10 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 6. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Ron Delight. The defense is ready, Your Honor. You're ready? Preparation is the last refuge of the week. Okay, settle down everyone. Let's begin with your opening statement, Mr. Godot. Ah, he's got the judge in the palm of his hand yet again. Ron Delight is simply too young to be sent to war. That's all. I'm afraid I have no idea what that means, Mr. Godot. Ha! Then you need to get out more, Your Honor. Life is war. But that is exactly why you must be more precise in your wording. That's all my statement means. You understand now, right? Yes, well then, let me briefly summarize the details of this case. Oh, the judge is taking charge, like he knows what's going on for a change. The victim is Kane Ballard, CEO of the KB Security. The definition of the ugly bastard. His body was found in a safe at approximately 9 AM on the morning of 13th. However, the time of death was estimated at 1 AM on the previous day. And that's where our little lost kitten dropped the ball. That little lost kitten is, of course, the defendant. Well then, Mr. Godot, please call your first witness. I never drink more than 17 cups of coffee during any given trial, but the first one is always the best. Mr. Godot, your witness? Please, dude. Okay then, let's hear what the defendant, Mr. Rondelite, has to say for himself. The defendant? Well, Mr. Wright, does the defense have any objections? It may be a bit of disadvantage having the defendant testify, but... No, it's not. I remember when Mia was defending me. She allowed me to testify so she could do the cross-examination. She put a lot of trust in me back then. We have no objections, Your Honor. The defense will allow Mr. Delight to testify. Ha! You've got guts, right? Alright then, Mr. Rondelite, please take the stand. But before he does... Okay, don't know what's problem. Let me reload my chat then. I can see chat. Alright then, Mr. Rondelite, please take the stand. He was already there, wasn't he? You did it, didn't you? Yes. What? No, that's not true. For a moment there, I thought we would set the record for the shortest trial ever. Well, Mr. Delight already looks plenty guilty with that face he's making, and once he opens his big mouth, he will probably put the last nail in his own coffin. Ha! Very well. Now then, can you tell me something? If you didn't kill Ballard, why did you go to the KB Security? Well, that's kind of hard to say, boy. I wish I could go home. Now then, let's hear some testimony about what happened. Jackass. My visit to KB Security. That evening, around 1 AM, I went to see Mr. Ballard in his office at KB Security. The blackmail letter I got, it ordered me to go there. I've been working for KB Security until a year ago, so I knew where his office was. Okay. 1 AM, that exact time the murder took place. The weak get washed away by the tides of fate. The strong drink it up. Ha! It's bitter today too, just like my destiny. You would never know that from the way he's chugging it down. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, you faggot, please. Apparently faggot is also a word that you can get banned from Twitch. I don't know why. That evening around 1 AM. Oh, okay. This, I'm interested in it. It ordered you there. It was the first time I've gotten a blackmail letter that ordered me to go somewhere. Does that mean you've gotten other blackmail letters then? Oh, of course. They would say things like steal this or take that. Take that. Or hold it. Why don't you save that for later, Mr. Delight? Please don't say anymore. Now, what should I do? Press harder. So what did the blackmail letter in question say? It said to bring $50,000. Money, eh? A perfect motive for committing murder. Oh, but wait. I never intended to pay that money away. Oh, is that right? After all, he had nothing to hold over my head. I had nothing to be afraid of. An important point indeed. Witness, let's have that added to your testimony. Yes, sir. Ha. A mud skipper in outer space has a better chance of surviving than I do. The blackmail threat didn't scare me. It was going to cause me trouble or nothing. Cause me trouble or nothing. Then why did you go? First press it. That's what were you being blackmailed about anyway? Oh, I'm an idiot. I could have pressed the blackmail ladder. The blackmail ladder said, if you don't want your identity revealed, correct? I'm sure it was referring to the Mazda Mustang. But I wasn't worried. Mr. Buller didn't have anything on me. He didn't? Anyway, I don't care what anyone says about me. Just as long as Darcy believes in me. So that's why Mr. Delight didn't believe he was Mazda Musk. That's why I knew. They were just hollow threats. Oh, do I have that giant ass book? Yes, I have. Okay, first of all, save is required. Okay. No, this wasn't it. What the fuck? Then the blackmail ladder. It's hard to say which one. Jesus! Then the newspaper clipping? I seriously don't know what is going on. Jesus, what the fuck? Now that's bullshit. It must be this sentence. I have one more try with the KB security keycard. And if not those... I thought it's this one. Like... Newspaper clipping, yes, already presented it. Let's present this. And it's not this one either! That was the point! Uh-oh, I've got a bad feeling about this. We better be careful. But if we don't find a way to make him spill the beans, we'll never get close to the truth. Yeah. You used to be a security chief for KB Security, right? Yes, that's right. Is it security chief? You? And yet, a year ago you were fired without a notice. Revenge for an old grudge? Perfect motive for murder, wouldn't you say? That isn't good. Maybe I should change the subject? Why he was fired? Okay. Mr. Delight, please tell us why you were fired from your job. Well... the world is filled with those who have said, I wish I had never asked that. Okay, then I take it. Defendant, please answer the question. Well, I needed money. You needed money? Well, you see, Leslie loves to spend it. It's kind of her hobby. Not exactly the best hobby in the world, huh, Nick? My salary wasn't nearly enough, so I stole data from the company. Come again? The KB Security has a lot of security info on all sorts of companies. And since I was a security team chief, you stole some data and sold it. Mr. Ballard found out and I was fired immediately. Was? I wish I had never asked that. I was somehow able to keep it secret and made it seem like I had quit on my own. What is it, Nicholas? You don't look so good. Someone who brings harm to their company is fired as a punishment. You would do well to remember that. He sure told you. He sure told you. So you admit that you stole data from your company, is that correct? Yes, I'm sorry. This is a very important fact. Please add it to your testimony. Oh man, this whole thing just took a big turn for the worse, crashed and blew up. It's gonna take the jaws of life to rip this case from the clutches of disaster. He fired me for selling company secrets, but Desi doesn't know about that. Why would you do something like that? Well, for Desi's hobby, what else? Wasting money, huh? It's not a waste. So Miss Delight doesn't know that her husband was fired, does she? So it would seem. I'm not sure what to think about couples who keep secrets like that from each other. I can't believe it. This case has gotten away Maya to think seriously about couples. Oh no. Please try to stay focused, Mr. Wright. There wasn't much to his testimony, was there? Oh my god, I hate this testimony already. Can turn text box off. Oh, I didn't know about this. Maybe like this. This part is so... Oh my... Jesus Christ. Really now? One AM, huh? You are absolutely sure about that? Yes, that's what my watch said, and when I was entering the CEO's office, no. Actually, I'm not really sure. My watch was slow, and my internet clock was also a bit... 1 AM, that's the exact time the victim, Mr. Ballard, was murdered, correct? It's too late for a coffee date, that's for sure. It ordered me to go there. The blackmail threat didn't scare me. It wasn't going to cause me any trouble or anything. My fucking cock hurts from this. It's just a guessing game from now on. Fuck this, I already forgot what this should be. Ron Delight's testimony. I'm not sure I follow. I don't follow this game either. That's bullshit. That's fucking bullshit.
Objection.
I'm afraid that reason isn't going to hold up anymore. I just had to press the same sentence again. I hate when these patterns happen on the game. The victim had no proof. The defendant was Mask. But you were the one who stole company secrets only 1 year earlier. But that was all over with once I was fired. But it is true that the fact I stole secrets was kept under wraps. Even so, there was no reason for me to pay at war now, a whole year later. Is that really true? What is it, Nick? The fact that Ron was stealing company data, I wonder if he would have had a problem if that ever became public knowledge? Yes, he would. Mr. Delight, I believe you would have been in considerable trouble if your identity as a company data thief was made public. Mr. Wright, what are you trying to do by bullying your own client? Ha! Men are like colonies of bacteria. The more heat you apply, the faster they grow. That's exactly right. Well then, feel free to keep up the heat, my little lawyer amigo. Little lawyer amigo? Yes, now come on, provide some evidence to back up your assertion. Why would Mr. Delight want to keep his data stealing secret from going public? Well, Mr. Defendant? You heard the defendant. Just when I thought it was impossible, a whole new level of irritation rises before me. It looks like the defense was just playing with himself. What the fuck? Do you think you could rephrase that, Your Honor, for my sake? Well, let's get back to the testimony, shall we? You're kidding me! The game threw me back here! The game threw me back here! Why can't I save? I can save now. Fucking finally. Nah, I guess not. But didn't you just say he might? I always avoid unpleasant or inconvenient fact. That's one of my rules. Don't try to get out of this by acting all cool. Okay, that wasn't it. If it wasn't a guessing game, but an actual lawyer game, this part, then I would... Ha! I could save before you. Fuck you. Fuck you, defendant. Why are you lying? Jesus, what the fuck is this? Can I present? Oh, I can present profiles! Yes! I absolutely forgot about that because of Mayo's Edgeworth games. Mr. Delight, what you said just now doesn't match what you told me yesterday. Huh? What doesn't? I think you must have been scared, very scared, of having a certain person find out your secret. A certain person? Miss Desiree Delight, the defendant's wife. But listen to me, my Desi, she's... Looks like if I just sit back and relax, the fun will end before it truly begins. Godot! Yes, we know. It was all your wife's fault. What do you mean? Mr. Delight stole company data to pay for his wife's spending habit, for which he was fired. Unable to face his own wife, someone used his dirty little secret to blackmail him. And that is how this murder came about. Oh, no, everything is falling neatly into place for him. Don't talk about my Desi like that. Will you be sorry? Well, it seems that we have learned a great deal of things here so far. What do you think, Nick? I didn't think it was possible to get so thoroughly whipped in just 20 minutes. Clearly, there was sufficient motive for murder. He stole data for his wife and he killed to protect his secret. A family man who cared just a little too much. The motive is clear. Let's move on. What happened at the crime scene at 1 in the morning, Mr. Delight? Come on now, tell us. We are all ears. It's really hard to voice him because it's just, I forget how deep I make my voice. CEO's office. When I entered the office, there was a suspicious shadow there. Suddenly I was hit on the forehead. After that I remember being a bit dazed. If I hadn't been wearing that, I would have been killed. When I came to, Mr. Ballard was lying there dead. I see, suddenly hit on the forehead, huh? I believe the detective from yesterday provided similar testimony. He said that Mazdamas struck him on the head from behind. Of course, since Epi turned out to be the culprit himself, that was all a lie. Ha! No one's going to believe a pathetic lie like that. What are you saying? I really was attacked. We'll find out if what you say is true or not during the cross-examination. Got that, Mr. Trite? Don't go easy just because he's your client. If I see any sign that you are, I treat you another cup of my special blend. You don't need to worry about that, Mr. Godot. I have faith in Ron. I know he didn't do it. Finally, we can move on. It's not just a guessing game that you have to return to the same fucking sentence and then press it. I hate those. Wearing what? That? Could you please clarify what you are referring to? Why? My Mazdamas costume, of course. Wait just a moment. Mazdamas? Huh? Oh, did I forget to mention it before? Just to be on the safe side, I dressed as Mazdamas. And then I descended upon the office of the CEO of Kibi Security. What? Nick, did you know about this? He never told me this. I don't recall him ever mentioning it to me either. Even I didn't know that. It seems our little friend really loves to keep secrets. I'm sorry, I just never had a chance to mention it up until now. Wait, that's not right. You know how sometimes things just slip your mind. Ha! My sixth cup of coffee is staring at me coldly. At any rate, we can't ignore this new piece of information. Witness, please correct your testimony. I would have been killed if I hadn't been wearing my Mazdamas costume. What the fuck? Why were you dressed up as Mazdamas? Why? Because I'm Mazdamas, of course. What are you talking about? Mazdamas trial is being held next door. Ah, yes, I guess so. Anyway, at that time, I thought I was being blackmailed over the Mazdamas issue. So I thought I should go as him, just to be safe. Oh boy. Let me tell you, it's a real pain to move around with that cape. That's why it took a lot longer than I expected. Took a lot longer? What is he talking about? What do you mean by it took a lot longer? Oh, opening the safe, of course. My cape got caught on the safe door, you see. This all happened when I was hiding Mr. Bullard's body. What was that? Back up a second. Yes? You were the one that hid the body in the safe? Well... Yes. Inconceivable. Why? Just why? What reason could you have? What were you thinking? Question. When does someone toss their dirty shorts in the washing machine? What? The answer is simple. when they take them off. As usual, I have no idea what you're saying. Do you mean that Mr. Delight hit the body because he's the murderer? Huh. So you're not as stupid as you look. His metaphor this time was really obscure. Mr. Wright, you don't mean that you knew about this was safe business, do you? Ah, well, yes. Well, why am I the only one not in the loop here? Witness, make sure you add this to the testimony. Yes, sir. Uh-oh, looks like a storm front is moving in over the fair weather judge. I panicked and hid the body in the safe. It took about 10 minutes. Your Honor, could you please take a look at this record? What might this be? The record for the emergency buzzer that connects the CEO's office to the security. Why would you present this evidence? It makes no fucking sense. To this sentence. Again, Finney's just explaining it to you, but you don't understand why it's important. Sometimes this game is just unreasonable, or I don't know. Let's read it again, shall we? Let's read it again, what it says. The buzzer went off once at 1:02 a.m. on October 12 in the CEO's office. Okay, let's check the autopsy report. At 1 a.m. Okay, whatever. If the button in the office is pressed, a security team is supposed to come running. And according to this record, the buzzer was pushed once at 1:02 a.m. What the fuck? If Mr. Rondelai truly was the murderer, he would have ran as soon as the buzzer sounded. After all, the security guard would have been heading his way. Okay, okay, finally. A reason. He would have run. Okay. Ha! Let's remember who we are dealing with here. He probably had no idea there was a security person in the building. Up until 1 year ago, my client was working as a chief of security. There's no way he wouldn't have known about them. But, as it turns out, the guard never came. That was nothing more than a coincidence. The fact that the guard was a pathetic loser who had just gotten punched in the face by his ex-new boyfriend and wasn't anywhere in the vicinity was not something Mr. Delight could have known. Ha! Again, remember who we are dealing with here. It's a sure bet that Mr. Delight didn't even notice the buzzer going off. This buzzer is extremely loud. There is no way he could have ignored something like that if he had been conscious, that is. Conscious? What do you mean by that? Never cornered. Fine, let's say your theory. Recall the defendant's testimony. The moment he entered the victim's office, someone attacked him. Mr. Delight said he felt dazed, willing to wager that he was knocked unconscious for at least a few minutes. Unconscious. So he fainted. That's why Mr. Delight didn't know the buzzer had sounded. And that's why he thought he had time to hide the body. So what are you trying to say? Mr. Delight was knocked out, and the buzzer went off soon afterwards. Now, unless my client was able to hit the buzzer while he was unconscious, it can only mean that there was another person in that room. That's right, whoever it was, they knocked out Rondelite and pressed the buzzer. Order in the court! This, Mr. Wright, this is preposterous. Was this good? Rondelite is the one who killed Cain Ballard. Then who pressed the buzzer? It was the victim, of course. He pressed the buzzer when the defendant attacked him. He didn't die right away. He must have held on long enough to push that button. So Cain Ballard sounded the buzzer himself. What is your opinion on this, Mr. Wright? I need to prove that the real criminal was there at the scene. But how? Can I prove that it wasn't Campbell who sounded the buzzer? I can. The defense's opinion is this, Your Honor. The piece of evidence proves that it wasn't the victim who sounded the buzzer. I believe this is a piece of incontrovertible evidence you were looking for. The emergency buzzer? Isn't there some kind of clue on it? Absolutely not. Hey, come on now. At least give me some thought to what you say before opening your mouth. The fact that there are absolutely no clues is itself the clue. I'm the one who's clueless. This button has no fingerprints on it. If Mr. Bennett had really pressed it himself, naturally he would have left his fingerprints behind. Ron Delight obviously wiped them off. Why would he? A guard could have come in at any moment. He touched that button, I know he did. The defender, Mr. Delight, was dressed as Mazda Mask. And Mazda Mask always wears gloves. What reason could he have possibly had to wipe the button free of fingerprints? Order, order, order! Ha! It would seem. I've been forced to eat crow. I wonder what blend number crow flavored coffee is. However, if the real killer was there at the scene, why would that person press the emergency buzzer? Shouldn't they have run away without putting themselves in extra danger? Was this awkward silence all of a sudden? It looks like you are fresh out of parlor tricks. They are on to you, Nick. Just give me a minute to collect my thoughts. The real culprit killed the Mr. Ballard at 1 AM. And Mr. Delight just happened to waltz in when the murder was taking place, right? The killer clobbered Mr. Delight and then sounded the buzzer. Even though security was supposed to respond right away, if the buzzer was pressed, security was supposed to respond. Time's up, Mr. Wright. Let's hear what you have to say. Very well then. Oh ho, you got some guts. Like that in the opponent. Why did the real killer sound the emergency buzzer? The killer knew that if they pressed the button, a guard would come running. And that was exactly what they wanted. Do you mean to say the killers called the guard on purpose? Yes? Although as it turned out, he never showed up. Because he was getting his clock cleaned at the time. Cock. What a touching story. You're saying the killer had a change of heart and called the guard to turn himself in? No, I'm not. When the buzzer sounded, there were 3 people in that office. The victim, Cain Ballard, who was already dead, the defendant, Ron Delight, who was out cold, and the third person, the real killer. Hypothetically, yes. Now then, in this situation, if the real killer made an escape, what would happen? The only ones left in the room would be the victim and Ron Delight. And if any security guards came running in at the time, they would think that I was the murderer. Yes, that was precisely the real killer's objective. To frame Ron Delight for the murder. I thought he's going to deny it. Order, order, order! It would seem I've been made to eat my words once again. Actually, you've been made to do a spit take with a cup of coffee. So right, who was it? Who was it that tried to frame me? Wait a second. In the one and only Mazda Mask, so... Nick, you mean the real killer is? Look at me. We are going to drag that person in here right now. But, who is it? I don't have any solid proof yet, but think about it. The killer knew the Mr. Delight's identity, and they also knew that they had been called to KB security that night. So the killer used to used him to execute a well-crafted plan to murder Game Ballard. Now then, let's hear your accusation, Mr. Wright. Who was it that framed Mr. Ron Delight for the murder of Game Ballard? Amy Faye. I was. Pearl. Detective, look at me. He's the only one who could have done it. Ace Detective, look at me? You mean Mazdamas did it? Your Honor, the person being tried in the court next to us is not Mazdamas at all. He is, in actuality, the murderer, the true murderer of Cain Ballard. Order. Mr. Wright, explain yourself. Theft and murder. Which is the more serious crime? They are not even close. Murder is the more serious crime, of course. It's a capital crime subject to a capital punishment. Please remember the trial from yesterday, if you would. When Look at Me confessed, there was a huge commotion in the courtroom. Of course, the famous detective was unmasked as, well, was the mask. Instead of being convicted of murder, he was found guilty of grand larceny. It was his true objective all along. To be found guilty? Mazdamas had the perfect alibi for when the murder took place. When he was stealing the urn at the Lordly Tailor. In other words, being found guilty as a Mazdamas was Look at Me's airtight, watertight and unassociable alibi. A guilty verdict as an alibi? Yes. You know, it's almost time. For what? For Look at Me's verdict. It was pretty simple trial after all. If we are going to stop this trial and stall that one, we need to do it now. Of course. That's assuming you have proof that the detective was the one who committed the murder. Mr. Look at Me's trial has indeed attracted the attention of the entire country. If you were to intrude and fail to provide adequate proof of his true crime, Mr. Delight will be left with no grounds for appeal. Am I really sure about this? Ha! A bet's only good when your life's the end. Mr. Wright, I believe in you. Mr. Delight. So, Liaze. I'm begging you. Thanks, but my decision will determine the rest of your life. Can I really risk your life like this? Phoenix? Was? Don't stray, Phoenix. For your client, take the path of trust. That voice. It sounds like... Mia. Your Honor, the defense requests an immediate recess. Huh. So that's your answer, huh? Very well. I've decided as well. This court will now take a 20-minute recess. Mr. Wright, when we return, please summon Mr. Look at Me to the stand. Yes, Your Honor. Jesus. October 14, 11:58 AM, District Court, courtroom number 5. Who's the defense attorney here? Well, Sir Detective Atme? Huh? I have to say, Mr. Payne, you performed splendidly. Oh no, Sir Detective Atme, you are the one who... That's enough. This court sees no reason further prolong this trial. This court finds the defendant Look at Me. Wait, don't hand down your verdict, please. Well, Sir Lawyer, welcome to my courtroom. Who's this hoser, eh? My name is Phoenix Wright, attorney at law, and I wish to file an accusation against this man. Look at me. Accusation? You accuse Mazdamas? That man is not Mazdamas. He's just a ruthless murderer. Boss! No. October 14, 12:14 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 4. My sis? I could have sworn I heard Mia's voice. So then, she's still alive, inside your heart. Nicky boy. Oh, Miss Delight. Is it true that Detective is the real killer? To be honest, we don't have any definitive proof. But he's the only one who could have done it. And I'm good at bluffing, because I'm Phoenix Wright. But wasn't he at Lordy Taylor that night? Not to mention, we don't exactly know his motive. I mean, why would Detective Ethnic want to kill Kane Bullard? Oops, it's almost time, better get back to the courtroom. I need to find some solid proof, and it's gotta happen sooner rather than later. October 14, 12:21 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 6. Now then, this court is back in session. Mister, look at me. Please take the stand. Well, how do you do, Sir Lawyer? I never would have thought to see you acting so recklessly. I couldn't let them hand down your verdict just yet. Not then, it would have given you your perfect alibi. An alibi by the name of Mazda Musk. I'm sorry. I'm afraid even the great Look at Me has no idea what you mean. Of course, I've been in the next courtroom ever since 10 o'clock this morning. I'm afraid there's no way I could know what's been going on in here. You've been in the defendant's seat all day long, correct? Being tried as Mazda Musk. Indeed, it's truly child's play to fool the ignorant masses. Not only did the poor fools ask me to protect their valuables, they even gave me a generous reward upon returning their own property to them. Take this red diamond ring that sparkles upon my divine finger, for example. So you continue to insist that you are in fact Mazda Musk? Of course. Very well then, Look at Me. Let us begin with this simple question. On October 12th at 1 AM, Kane Bullard was murdered. Where were you at the time? One without knowledge lacks even the knowledge that he should be ashamed of himself. But don't worry, I will not hold it against you, Sir Judge. Thanks. Alright, Mr. Atme, the night of the murder, speak. We are all ears. As you wish, Sir Prosecutor. The alibi. I was stealing the urn as Mazda Musk, just as I announced I would. I had more than enough time to prepare. It was a pathetically easy job. A photograph contains no words, but in this case, one turned out to be my witness. The time at which the camera captured Mazda Musk was the same time as the murder. It seems the main point of discussion will be this photo of the crime scene. Everything else up until now was all part of his plan. There has to be secreted to this picture as well. Even the great Mazda Musk cannot be in two places at once. Now then, if you will excuse me, I have a verdict to receive. Unfortunately, Mr. Atme, but we still have to do the cross-examination. A fool is too foolish to know when that he is a fool. I think he's trying to say that you are full of it, Nick. The only thing that's full of it is his alibi. Don't know why, but alibi always reminds me of Albatross or something. I was stealing the urn as Mazda. Oh. About the camera that took this photograph. Oh, come now. It's all too clear what you are thinking. Huh? You think I altered the timestamp on the photograph, don't you? I'm afraid that's impossible. The camera was set up by Lordy Taylor, and on top of that, it was Lordy Taylor staff that printed the picture's data. Unfortunately for the defense, there's no way the picture could have been altered. I see. Looks like I better find something else that could be suspicious. So by photograph, you mean this piece of evidence here, is that correct? Indeed it is, that is it. The very thing that proves you committed the crime? When you think about it, it's really odd. You say that almost as if you had this picture taken on purpose. He was simply caught by the very camera that he set up. We all have days like that. What? Indeed, it turned out that there was no such thing as the perfect crime after all. Life is truly an ironic thing, a sad blue melody. It looks like I better gather more information for now. If he's truly the killer, there's gotta be something funny in the photo. Okay, then this sentence about the camera that took this photograph. Oh, I already asked this. What the fuck? I need a new sentence, I know. So this photograph is the proof, correct? Indeed it is. That's it. Oh, and the man in the photo is certainly wearing a mask. That is why I'm called Mask. But conveniently, that also means that there is no way to tell what this really is. What do you mean? Huh? Are you saying that this is not in fact look at me? Then it could be an accomplice dressed up as Mazdamas to create an alibi? Oh ho, what an interesting idea. Are you saying that I, lone wolf look at, had an accomplice? Give it up. If look at me was at KB Secret during the murder, then the Mazda mask in this picture has to be a fake. Then there really was an accomplice, but right now I have no idea what it was. I don't have any idea right now either. His objections are just what the guy wants. There's gotta be another way, and I'm going to find it. I believe Adrian Andrews hired you at one point. That's right. It was over 20 days ago if I'm not mistaken. You sent the calling card to Lolitaire 10 days before the heist. That would mean you sent out the card after you began your security watch, right? Indeed. There was no reason why I couldn't do both jobs at once. It was the perfect opportunity to steal my latest target. I see, you truly are evil, aren't you? Yes, evil is what I am. Hey Nick, isn't there something other about this? Detective Atme was always proud of his ace detective skills, right? But if the urn was stolen from Lolitaire while he was the only one watching it, he would have no way to maintain his perfect ace detective persona. You know, that's true. This kind of odd. I had to present something here? I'm not getting any new information. So by photograph, you mean this piece of evidence here, is that correct? Indeed it is. That is it. The very thing that proves I committed the crime. The very thing that proves you committed the crime? Surely even you understand by now. Lolitaire provided that camera. There's no way I could have tampered with it. That means I could not have killed Camberlord, unless I had an accomplice. Come on, think long and hard about that night. The basement warehouse and this picture head that supposedly captures it. It's got to be here. Isn't there something funny about this picture? You bet there is. Are you implying that this picture is a fake? You bet I am. There's definitely something strange about this picture. We took a look around the basement warehouse that night before the theft took place, and there's something in this photo that doesn't match my memory of that night. Very well, then let's hear what you have to say. What about this photograph do you find funny? This right here. The funny part is right here. Why this is a blood stain. No, it isn't. Oh, blood! Now this case is getting interesting. I'm not exactly the stain. This stain is actually pink paint. Oh, just paint. And peach colored at that. From blood to peaches, the judge sure loves going on his white tangents. The problem with this photograph is not the paint. The problem is when you consider the layout of the basement warehouse. It turns out that something that should be there is nowhere to be seen. Well, Mr. Wright? What is supposed to be in this picture instead of the paint stains? The supervisor of the treasure exhibit stated the following. Well, there's good reason for that. On the day of the crime, around noon, that golden statue just happened to arrive from the mountain training hall. I realized that the statue would be perfect size for covering up the paint stains. That's why I put it where you first saw it. I myself was there the night the theft took place, and saw the statue in that spot. If this picture was truly taken on that night, then that statue should have been there. But when I went there, the day after the theft, that statue of Oldberg was sitting in the corner. Perhaps it was somehow pushed there accidentally. Your Honor, the statue is slightly larger than yourself and quite heavy. It will take more than an accidental push to move in that direction. I can't read! Ha! In that case, can you prove it? Can you give us the rhyme and reason as to why the statue was moved that night? Can you do it, Nick? Never mind who moved it. The real question is, why did they move it? Well, Mr. Wright, I hope you are prepared with your answer. Now then, who was the one that moved the golden statue on the night of the crime? Who was? The one who moved the statue is none other than... Look at me. Come now, Sir Lawyer. There you go again. On one of your strange delusions. Mr. Wright, what basis do you have for your strange delusions? It's very simple. The witness was the only one in the basement warehouse that night. That is indeed very simple. However, why would I want to move a heavy golden statue? The reason for moving the golden statue. Here's where our battle really begins. God damn it, why am I struggling with words? Well, Mr. Wright, what reason did the witness have to move the statue? The reason can be found here in this photograph. Look at me, you pretended to be Mazda Mask to create an alibi by showing you were at Lord Taylor that night. This is my 16th cup of coffee. Okay. But this photograph contains a single fatal flaw. If the statue had been there, your life would be exposed like a cheap film at a drugstore. That is why you had to move the statue. A single fatal flaw? Interesting theory. Please enlighten us. Thus where in this picture does this lie exist? Naturally, the lie in this photo is the timestamp. What do you mean? I'll tell you exactly what I mean. On the night in question, Look at Me went to KB security and murdered Kane Bird. Therefore, it's obvious. It would have been impossible for him to have been at Loritier at the time. But what does that have to do with the statue being moved? Remember, if you will, Your Honor, when was this statue placed besides the warehouse door? Well, the statue was taken down to the warehouse on the night of the crime, and it was placed there in order to cover up the paint. Exactly. Like, Look at Me had already decided on the time when he was going to kill the victim, and so, in order to create an alibi for that night, for the time, he took this picture days before the murder took place. What? Of course, the statue hadn't yet been brought down to the basement warehouse yet. So on the day of the crime, Mr. Happy must have been quite nervous. As nervous as long-tailed cat in the rocking chair factory, so to speak. Why? Because something that wasn't supposed to be there had been brought down and placed where it wasn't supposed to be. And that is why Look at Me had to move the statue on the night of the crime. Murder. He did it to make the room match with the way it had been in this photo. Order, order! Mr. Atme, is this true? One moment, Your Honor. Have you forgotten this? What's that? The data for the basement warehouse computer. According to this, the camera did indeed go off once that night. It's true that the camera had been set up by the Lolly Taylor staff. However, the program used to manage the data was yours. That alone would have allowed you to tamper with the data. Order, order. Mr. Godot, what is the meaning of this? Godot, I warned you about making me wait. Now put that coffee down. My 11th cup. I promise to drink no more than 17 during a trial, which means I'm still good till the last drop. However, the defense has a very good point. A good point? So what? We are all but travelers on a road of infinite points. I think he's got his points mixed up with his other points. So you say this photograph was taken ahead of time, and that the statue was moved in order to make it match. That's a very interesting idea. However, there's one point that can be denied, which is that it's only a possibility. Men that are trapped by the chains of maybe can never reach their dreams. That's very true. No way, don't fall for that, Your Honor. Hey, Mr. Damask. Yes? If there's no funny business in your actions as Damask, there should be no problem with you telling us your strategy. So let's hear it. Yes, please provide this court with your testimony about your plan to steal the sacred urn. I first received a request from Lord Taylor about 20 days ago. The urn was placed in a box, and Zwari, it was then sent to the warehouse. Hence, I was actually unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. I knew it was an extremely valuable treasure, so I sent my cord 10 days beforehand. I then handled security by myself to ensure that my crime would go smoothly. At last, I had the urn in my hands for the first time at 1 AM on October 12th. That's pretty much all the stuff we have heard before, isn't it? Yeah, but we will find the truth hidden in the nuggets of new information he gave. Witness, you are sure there are no mistakes this time? Zwari. Very well then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. So you are sure that you had never seen the urn before? Indeed, you may ask Lady Andrews to confirm for yourself. My security was focused entirely on the entrance to that warehouse. However, I Look at Me let no information whatsoever slip through my fingers. I knew it was an extremely valuable treasure, so I sent my card 10 days beforehand. But it's worthless. You mean this calling card? That's right, that is without a doubt my calling card. I guess Mr. Delight didn't make this after all. Of course. Because Atme knew about the emblem. Making this card out and think would have been child's play for him. I then handled security by myself to ensure that my crime would go smoothly. At last I had the urn in my hands, for the first time at 1 AM on October 12th. And this is the photo that proves that, huh? Indeed, to be honest, even a photo was taken. I didn't think it would matter terribly much. Hey Nick, if this photo is a fake, Detective Etty might have stolen the urn whenever this was taken. That's true. You know, he's been saying that he never saw the urn until that night. If we can prove that he's lying there, we can wrap this up and put a bow on it. I need to take a good hard look at the court record. Not a lot to go on, is there? The detective's been covering his tracks. There's only one thing we need to prove in this cross-examination. That he took this photo well before the actual night of the crime. Alright then, how do we do that? There's one thing that Etney stated very clearly, that he had never seen the urn before he stole it. We need to prove that he's lying. You mean this box? Yes, that pathetic box. Lady Andrews was especially taken with that urn, and she wouldn't let anyone enter the storeroom, not even me. Huh? Interesting new tidbit. Hence, I was actually unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. So you are sure that you had never seen the urn before? Indeed. You may ask Lady Andrews to confirm for yourself. The security was focused entirely on the entrance to the fairhouse. However, I look at me let no information whatsoever slip through my fingers. Speckled urn. Speckled urn. Mr. Atme, if you really are Mazdamask, then you also wrote this calling card, correct? But of course. Is there a problem with that calling card? Allow me to read the passage from the calling card that Mazdamask had written. Take good care of the speckled urn. Now the speckled here surely refers to this pink pattern on the sacred urn. Yes, that is true. But so what? Proved a bit odd. There is no way that Mazdamask could have known about this pattern. What do you mean? This pink spotted pattern on the urn is actually nothing more than paint stains. Paint stains? And these paint stains did not appear until after the urn had been taken to Lordly Taylor. I'm not finding this joke to be very funny, Mr. Trite. The day that the sacred urn was taken to the warehouse, the urn was broken due to the human error. Or should I say, an error-prone human. And that's when the pink paint got on the urn. You can't be serious. And yet this calling card clearly matches the paint pattern. Which means Detective Atme had seen this urn long before the crime even took place. In fact, he saw it when the fake photo was taken. And because this photo is a fake, your alibi for the night of the murder no longer holds water. Witness, do you have anything to say for yourself? Alright, that did it. He's broken. Nicholas, I think it's still a little early for victory pose, huh? Ha! It's so sad. No one has any conviction these days. Conviction, you say? Yesterday, we all decided unanimously that this man was Mazdamask, and now we are calling him a murderer. You don't think we are being a tad fickle? That's a good point. No way, don't fall for that too, Your Honor. You say that Look at Me was the one who killed Campbell. Then let me ask you this, why would he do that? An excellent point. Motive, Mr. Wright, motive! Might you marry, murderous motive manifest. Nick, he's getting his second wind. If he prepared an alibi and pinned his crime on Rondelight, as you say, he must have had a very strong motive for murder. The only one with any motive we have seen is Ron Delight. Isn't that right, detective? Indeed, according to my own research, the boy's motive is clear. Without motive, it's nearly impossible to prove guilt in murder's case. Now then, maybe you can enlighten us as to what the defendant's motives were. I'll be honored to, Sir Oldtimer. They are doing everything they can to make Ron look suspicious. Despite our lack of hard information, this may be our only chance. Motive for murder. I, look at me, had no points of contact with the victim whatsoever. Cain Bullard decided to investigate Mazdamas and simply mistook who he was. It was Mr. Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter and sent it to Ron Delight. And it was again Mr. Bullard who harbored a grudge against Mr. Delight for his betrayal. Mr. Bullard's mistake is quite excusable. The defendant truly believes he is Mazdamas. That is why Mr. Delight saw it fit to kill Cain Bullard. Truly a tragedy. So the victim Cain Bullard blackmailed the defendant? This is the blackmail letter found in the defendant's apartment. Handwriting test confirms that Mr. Bullard was indeed the one who wrote the letter. What? Well, very well, Mr. Wright. Begin your cross-examination. And who in the world is going to prove that? I will. After doing a thorough background check of Detective Atman and Cain Bullard, we were unable to find any links between them. It's all in the report. Perhaps they were connected through their work. They were both involved in security. Nope. That was blunt. In any case, the only one with a motive was Mr. Delight. Cain Bullard decided to investigate Mazdamas and simply mistook who he was. Mistook? That's right, mistook, from the Old Norse mistaka, meaning to take in error. That wasn't what I meant. Just who did the victim mistake Mazdamas to be? Why, the answer is obvious. Ron Delight, of course. Boy, I would like to wipe the smug look of this guy's face. Press harder. Why would the victim mistake the defendant for Mazdamas? Don't you already know that? Zvari, take a look at this newspaper. Oh ho, that's the famous tear of Amanon, a magnificent jewel. The photo shows a magnificent detective as well, does it not? Furthermore, it also shows an ugly guard, namely the defendant. The defendant? The victim clearly misread this article, and Zvari got the wrong impression. The impression that this ugly security guard was in fact Mazdamas. I see. That was an unusually reasonable deduction. You mean this blackmail letter right here? It says bring $50,000 and the handwriting is without adopted victims? There's no mistake, we have an official report to prove it. But I don't see any address C on this letter anywhere. An address C? This letter was discovered in Ron Delight's apartment and Mr. Delight did show up at the designated place and time. The fact that there is no address is irrelevant. I wonder... What's up, Nick? I just had a thought. What if that blackmail letter wasn't meant for Mr. Delight? Whoa, do you have any evidence of that? For some reason, I just can't shake the feeling that there's something not quite right about this blackmail letter. Well, everyone, are you quite satisfied? Okay, I have an idea. Save and present the blackmail letter. And it worked. Mind if I ask you a few questions, Detective Atme? Well, if it's just a few, I guess it's alright. When you said that this letter was addressed to Ron Delight, I couldn't help but notice one major contradiction. Contradiction? I don't know where a walking contradiction like you gets off saying things like that. You are one to talk. At times like this, men are made to press themselves with their fists. Why don't you show us what you got there, Junior? Indeed, time to man up, Mr. Bright. Show us the contradicting evidence in the content of the blackmail letter. Oh. Ha! A little too one punch like that wouldn't even faze me. I think you mean 1-2 punch. Mr. Wright, try thinking things through a little more before finding fault with others. Ouch, I sure felt that punch, Your Honor. Anyway, let's try reading the blackmail letter one more time. There's got to be something off about it anyway. Very well then, witness. Please proceed with your testimony. Then it's this, motherfuckers. Take a good look at this newspaper clipping. It contains a picture of the Tears of Amanon, the stolen jewel. What about it? The problem is this jewel's color. Color? I'm not much for discussing color myself. According to the clipping, the color of the stolen jewel was blue. However, in the blackmail letter, a totally different jewel is mentioned. I'll take that red diamond you received the other day. Red? Which means, the red diamond described in the blackmail letter is not the Tear of Amanon that Mazdama stole at all.
Objection!
And your point is, Mr. Trite? So you are trying to say that this blackmail letter wasn't intended for someone else? That is what you are trying to say, right? Trite? That is what you're trying to say, right, Mr. Bright? Well, that is what you are trying to say, right, Nick? Yes. This is who Cambridge was actually blackmailing. Naturally, it was you, Detective Atme. Do you have some sort of basis for that claim? You have been personally involved in every single Mazdamas case, and in the last case, you recovered what was stolen, and received the jewel as your reward. A jewel? Probably the one wrapped conspicuously around your finger. That red diamond ring. Dude, please, mobile phone, don't end my stream. That is the diamond referred to in the letter, which means that Cambridge wrote that letter in order to blackmail you. Order in the motherfucking court, order I say. It seems you've gone too far with your childish pranks, Mr. Trite. Uh-oh, I don't like the way he said that. Cambridge, blackmailing, look at me. Irie for real? Yes, I am. Nick, come on, stand up to him. Then answer me this. The blackmailer contains the following passage. If you don't want your identity revealed to the world. Yes, it certainly does. King Bullard threatened to make Lucate's identity public knowledge. An identity he wanted to keep a secret. So just what was that identity? Atme killed King Bullard because he was afraid of his secret becoming known. What was the identity he wanted to keep secret? This is what it all comes down to, Nick. The identity that Look At Me wanted to so desperately keep secret was his blackmailer. Look At Me was a blackmailer.
Objection!
Hey now, isn't it a little different from what you have been saying? You said that King Bird was the one blackmailing Look At Me. Are you saying that Atme was blackmailing someone else on top of that? You have to admit that does sound a little odd. It's not odd. It's the only thing that makes any sense. King Bullard was blackmailing Look At Me. But Rondelight was also being blackmailed by a certain someone. So did you start receiving blackmailers after this incident? Yes, just a few days after the Tear of Emerald heist. After that, I started getting the plans in the mail. I received plans from some very kind person, incredibly detailed plans. Detailed plans? In which case, that would mean that Rondelight was actually Mazdamask. This is what we are claiming. Someone else came up with the plans and had Mr. Delight steal his targets for him. And that someone was none other than Look At Me. Shh! Silence! Now I see, it's all becoming clear. What is? When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Careless with a tendency to jump to conclusions. Am I wrong? How did you? You say that Look At Me was blackmailing Rondelight? In which case, I would naturally know all about his relation to Mazdamask. Well, yes. Rondelight started receiving plans from his second crime on Earth, correct? Which means I learned all of his identity when he committed the first crime. Good point. He certainly couldn't have blackmailed him otherwise. In that case, let's see some hard video evidence. During the first crime, how did Look At Me know that Rondelight was Mazdamask? I think I see it. See what? When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Gets into lots of mischief trying to be a center of attention. What do you mean? This newspaper clipping. It has a picture of you and Rondelight in his guard uniform. It seems that Mazdamask didn't just disappear into the thin air. He just took off his outfit and hid it in the bucket. That sounds far too stupid to be true. Correct, with this trick like that he couldn't fool a baby. And let alone an ace detective. And that's when you figured it out, Mr. Atme. That's when you learned that under his mask, Mazdamask was really Rondelight. But wasn't he supposed to know Mazdamask? Not only that, it looks like he wasn't even an ace detective. I can't believe it, he was just a slimy blackmailer. What a fraud, trying to press himself off as an ace detective. Ace detective. Why, you, how dare you expose me like that? Why, I mean, I've never blackmailed anyone in my life. I'm a famous and proud ace detective, and also a Mazdamask. Why can't you understand that? I'm afraid you are neither a proud thief nor an ace detective. You are a blackmailer and a murderer. That is your true identity. Why you? Why not try doing yourself with those big mouth of yours? I say none of you can compare to my genius. You're really such a discriminate commemorate that is that you cannot handle blackmail murder threats. It's enough to make one laugh. Proceeds to masturbate. It would seem we have finally arrived at the real answer. That was quite a performance by Mr. Atme. Bailiff, please prepare yourself for Mr. Atme.
Objection!
The hammer that strikes too fast has no time to aim. What do you mean? I'm already prepared to deliver my ruling. Allow me to say one thing. I will be the one to judge. You don't get much more in your face than that. It appears that your claws weren't quite sharp enough, Mr. Trite. What do you mean? It's true that you have proven a lot of things. Things like look at me was a faithful blackmailer, and that he wasn't that lordly tailor the night of the murder. That's right, that's why he's the one who killed Mr. But there's still one thing you have yet to prove. What's that? Just because he wasn't at the warehouse doesn't mean he was at the murder scene. Therefore, if you can prove that this pitiful excuse for a man was at KB security, then I don't see how a verdict can be delivered. Movie. Order in the motherfucking court. Well, Mr. Wright, this is it. This is the final round. If I got to prove Mr. Atme was at Bullard's office on the night, but can you really prove that? That's long enough, Mr. Trite. I want to hear your answer. That night Look At Me was at KB secret and the defense can prove it. The defense can prove it. With evidence. Are you sure? Ah. Don't you worry, I watch over you. As you break down and fall to pieces. Very well then, let's see this proof. Wait, I actually can prove that. My attorney's badge. This is the proof. It's true. That is very important. However, I'm not so foolish to think that we'll pass for evidence here. Mr. Trite, it's time you learn the true flavor of life. The flavor of my special Godot blend. 49. Well, Mr. Wright? It's bitter. Very bitter. Come on, Nick, don't give up now. What do I do? If I make a mistake, it's over. Can't prove it. I can't prove it. Just as I thought. But if we hear more of Detective Atme's testimony... Unfortunately, that's as far as you go, Mr. Trite. What do you mean? I won't allow for any more testimony, that's what I mean. What? Have you forgotten? Look at me, he's here after we have interrupted his own trial. And you have failed to prove that he committed the murder. I think it's time for this witness to return to his own trial and face his guilty verdict as Mazda Mask. No. Well now, Sir Lawyer, it seems that love wins out in the end after all. I'm the ace detective as well as Mazda Mask. My verdict will verify that. Just as Ron Delights will verify that he is the true murderer, I'll declare that with the full force of my ace detectiveness. Order in the court, that's enough deliberation over this witness. I can't believe this, at this rate Ron is... Don't give up, Nick. We still have tomorrow. We can look for more evidence and by then it will be too late. Huh? Bye. Double jeopardy. One of the basic rules of any court law. Double jeopardy? Should a defendant be tried and found innocent in court, the defendant cannot be tried again for the same crime. This is the fundamental rule of all courts, and it applies to this witness as much as it applies to anyone else. Mr. Atme will be found guilty in a matter of minutes, guilty as Mazda Mask, which means he will be innocent as far as the murder of Kimberly is concerned. No way. The fact that you were unable to prove Mr. Atme's guilt of that crime here means that he will never again be tried as Kimberly's murderer. Hold it. Now there's nothing I can possibly do to win. Even if Ron is proclaimed to be innocent, the real killer Look At Me will go free. You have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today. Really? And as long as there is no more testimony, I'm afraid I have to declare that there will be no further questioning of this witness. Are there any objections? Object, Nicholas. Then I hereby end the cross-examination. Look at me. I think I see it. Your Honor, when you were a child, that is what was on your report card every day. Has poor hearing and often makes mistakes. How did you... Phoenix, raise your head up high. Have you forgotten what I used to tell you? A lawyer is someone who smiles no matter how bad it gets. Mia? That voice. Purse? Oh. Long time no see, Phoenix. Mia. This is the true power of the Kurain channeling technique. I know that it's really Maya who's standing before me, but right now she's my mentor, Mia Fey. Now let's do this. But there's nothing more we can do, Mia. Without any more testimony I can't cross-examine. Not yet. Testimony is not over yet. What do you mean? Your Honor, just now you said something very interesting. You have cross-examined every statement that the witness made here today. Yes, that's true, but unfortunately, Your Honor, you are forgetting something. Earlier, that after the last cross-examination, the witness made a number of remarks. Well now, Sir Lawyer, it seems that love wins out in the end after all. I'm the Aesthete as well as Mazda Mask. My verdict will verify that, just as Ron Delights will verify that he is the true murderer. I'll declare that with the full force of my ace detectiveness. Yes, but those comments appear to have no importance whatsoever. Very well, then we shall prove their importance via cross-examination. At any rate, as long as the witness has made these remarks, we, the defense, assert our right to question them. Is that alright with you, prosecutor? Oh no. Is something the matter, Mr. Godot? Ah, nothing. Our Sir Lawyer, it looks like you are one step too late. If you think such falsehoods will do anything to me, look at... Let's hear it. Well, it's true that the witness made some remarks. So then, let's hear this last bit of cross-examination. Mr. Godot, what are you? Very well then, Mr. Look at me. I'm going to allow the defense to cross-examine your earlier remarks. The defense would like to hear why you declare the defendant to be the true murderer. So please, give us one last bit of testimony. Phoenix, this is it. This is our absolute last chance. Yes, Chief. Okay, let's see. Indeed, it is true that I was not a lowly tailor. I had to leave to see about another vitally important job request. I had known about the deal beforehand, so I had this photograph ready. My brilliant deduction was what informed me that the true culprit was Ron Delight, and thanks to the keycard and wallet it was evidently clear that he was there. I was also able to make a deduction from the buzzer, which only sounded once. The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? The victim would have left prints if he sounded it, which means the killer sounded it. Mr. Delight was wearing his Mazda Mask outfit, which is why he left no prints. And the blackmail leather? The victim likely just mistook the color of the jewel. Zvari! Therefore, all the evidence points to that poor boy. This testimony actually seems to hold up pretty well. This witness' earlier remarks did not appear to have been hastily prepared. All of his points have been explained, none of them seem to contradict anything. But of course... But how did you know about the emergency buzzer? The police investigation documents went directly through me. And I always look over all the documents. It's elementary, your Sir Lawyer. Are you going to make even more trouble for us now, Sir Lawyer? I will not allow any of your usual shenanigans, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor? We cannot postpone look at Miss trial any longer. This is your last chance. Hang on a sec, just one chance? Huh, it seems that the part is about to begin. Well, Phoenix, there isn't any evidence that contradicts with that testimony. So it would seem. What do you mean, so it would seem? Listen, Phoenix, pointing out contradictions. doesn't always mean you have to present evidence, does it? At any rate, this is our last chance. If you can't point out a case-breaking contradiction, you lose. That's all there is to it. Cup number 17, the last cup. It seems like the time has come to put an end to this trial. I have to find a fatal contradiction in this testimony, and I need to point it out without presenting evidence. Which means all I can do is find a contradictory remark and press it. Remember, you only get one chance. And I really do. Very well then, Mr. Wright. Please begin your final class examination. If you pressed on the wrong statement, you die. Mr. Atme, about this last remark. You still don't get it, do you? Try it. This isn't the time to be pressing the witness on every little statement. I'm afraid you are the one who still doesn't get it, Mr. Godot. Well, Mr. Atme, it seems you have finally admitted that you were in the CEO's office on the night of the murder. How can you say that? Let's review your testimony, shall we, Mr. Atme? The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? Mr. Delight was wearing his Mazda mask outfit, isn't that correct? Indeed, that's what I said. My deductions are absolutely foolproof. More like your deductions prove that you are a fool. I'm sorry, whatever do you mean? For some reason, I'm starting to get really thirsty. When exactly did we learn the fact that Ron Delight was dressed up as Mazda mask when he went to the scene of the crime? That was... it was just a few hours ago. Back when my sixth cop was looking at me with a cold stare. Huh? Oh, did I forget to mention it before? I'm sorry, I just never had a chance to mention it up until now. That's right, the defendant had yet to tell anyone else this fact before this morning. Therefore, the only people who should have known this are those who have been watching this trial. Do you understand now, Detective Atme? There is no way that you should have known about that. You were in the next courtroom, being tried as Mazda mask, so then enlighten us. Just how did you know about this piece of information?
Objection!
Come on, this detective must have known about it. He probably had plenty of chances to find out beforehand. And it's those chances that I want to discuss next. That night Mr. Delight was wearing his Mazda mask outfit. There is one and only one way for the detective Atme to have found out that out. What? One way, you say? Please recall, if you will, Mr. Delight's testimony. When I entered the office, there was a suspicious shadow there. For a second, my client witnessed the real killer. But Mr. Delight never saw his attacker, so there's no way to tell whether or not the real killer was looking at me. It's with the statement that I will turn this case on its head. Just what are you implying? Mr. Delight saw the real killer, correct? Now if you turn the statement around, it stands to reason that the real killer had also seen Ron Delight. Impossible! Oh, I did not know. Detective Atme, you saw Mazda mask at the murder scene that night. You saw him when you killed Camberlord and assaulted Ron Delight. That was the only way you could have known what Ron was wearing. Take a good look, everyone. Unable to find a rival worthy of my genius, I was forced to create one by myself. Here I am, the tragic clown That's the same line you gave yesterday, and it's still the best. But I think there's a little more meaning behind it this time. Evil laugh. What an awfully complicated incident. Cain Bullard was blackmailing Look at Me, was in turn blackmailing Rondelight, and upon killing his blackmailer, Look at Me tried to frame Rondelight. He then claimed to be guilty as Mazda Mask in order to escape his true crime, and to that end he came up with this plan, to use double jeopardy rule when making his alibi. At any rate, it would seem we have finally found the truth. Excuse me? I came perilously close to besmirching the record of an innocent young man. Besmirching him with the title of murderer. Don't ignore me, huh? Oh, I didn't realize you were there. Why wouldn't he be? About the verdict, I know. You never committed the murder. That's right, I'm so glad you understand it, but I really am Mazda Musk. Oh? So thanks to that trial yesterday I'm innocent now, right? What was it you said? Double jeopardy? Now that you mention it, I've been careless. They've been fooled. Careless. What do you think, Mia? As the defendant says, the rule of double jeopardy is absolute. The defendant can never be tried twice for a crime in which he was found once innocent. Then Mazda Musk is really innocent? It would seem so. For now. For now? Okay, so that's why he wasn't arrested. Now then, this court finds the defendant guilty for murder. Poor Godot lost his case. Now he's not undefeated prosecutor. Boy, this is really lucky. Wait, this isn't so good after all. You see, the thing is, I still am Mazda Mask after all. October 14, 3:35 PM. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 4. You did it, Phoenix. Thanks, Mia. It's been a long time, hasn't it? Yeah, it's because Maya doesn't call me on much these days. Oh? I'm just joking, Phoenix. Don't take everything so seriously. But on the other hand, Maya, she seems kind of torn these days. You mean about becoming the master of Kurain channeling school? Becoming the master means saying goodbye to our mother. Mr. Faye, right? Watch over her, will you, Phoenix? Of course. Well then, see you around. Mia. Mr. Wright. I don't know what to say. Congratulations, Mr. Delight. Thank you so much. No, wait. Nothing really matters anymore though, now that all of this has happened. Come on, just be happy already. Maya, you have been cleared of all murder charges and got off as Mazda Mask to boot. But in exchange, I lost everything. Huh? What do you mean? Stealing security information from KB Security, becoming Mazda Mask. I did it all for one reason, for her. You mean your wife, Desiree? She hates criminals more than anything. Come to think of it, she was once held hostage by some robbers, wasn't she? She always said how she hated sneaky criminals. I knew that, but once I got fired from KB Security and lost all the money I had, she wouldn't have any reason to stay with me. I thought she would leave me for sure. So that's why I became Mazda Mask? Yes, but it's all over now. A broken bowl can never be put back together? That's not true, right, Nick? Right. Really? Can we go back to things the way things were? Be fine, and Nick can prove it. I kind of wish you would check with me first. See that? Even a bowl is broken, there is always a way to put it back together. The sacred urn. Desi was the one who found this. Desiree, your wife, she always believed in you, Ron. That's why that's why you'll be fine. You don't have to worry about anything. Oh, there you are. Mr. Delight. Miss Delight. You did it, Ronnie. You are innocent. I'm so happy. Thank you. I appreciate that, but I suppose you don't want me anything. You don't want anything more to do with me, do you? Ronnie, why didn't you talk to me about that? What was going on? I had no idea you would quit KB security. I never imagined that you were really Mazda was either. Miss Delight, what are you going to do that, you know? You're not going to really leave him, are you? Come on, it's obvious, isn't it? How could I ever let a wonderful man like him get away? After all, my bike's really fast. So fast that there's no way he could ever get away. But didn't you say that you hated criminals? Oh, I only hate people who act all cowardly and sneaky. Like the detective. I see. My Ronnie went and declared his crimes before he committed them like a man. I just love a man who is so chivalrous. Chivalrous? I knew I was right about you. Every day I spend with you is filled with the thrills and the excitement. Desiree, you really do love Ron, do you? Nicky boy? Yes, I'm really glad I asked you to defend my Ronnie. Thank you so much. I never forget what you have done for us. Oh well, take care of yourself. You too, Nicky boy. I can feel my face going red. Mr. Nick, Mystic Maya, congratulations. Talk about bad timing. Mr. Nick, how could you, with another man's wife, in front of Mystic Maya? I never forgive you, never. This is like 6 slaps. So just as the case came to a close, so did my consciousness. Ron said a broken ball can never be put back together. But I know that's not true. I mean, just look. This picture. Here's a perfect example of one that was put back together, even better than before. What is Maya's face? Finally, it's over. I'm only done with 2 cases. Jesus Christ. What the fuck? That's enough. Even the judge agrees. Okay, well. I guess see you next time.